It was supposed to be a happy day. I had everything planned out, the tux, the speech, the bride I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. But I should have known. Life's never that simple, is it? I had known her for years. She was everything I thought I wanted, intelligent, beautiful, the kind of woman who would make a guy feel like he had hit the jackpot. Our relationship, at least at the start, was the kind of fairy tale you hear about, one of those once-in-a-lifetime types. That's how I felt, at least. She was my best friend, my confidant, my partner. That's how I saw her, and I thought that was how she saw me. But then, like a cloud on a perfectly sunny day, things started to shift. Subtle at first. Small comments. Little jabs wrapped in joking tones. "Maybe you should start dressing better, babe," she'd say. "You used to be more fun, you know?" A line she repeated when she didn't like something I wore, or when she thought I spent too much time on my own hobbies, my own life. It was always my fault, even when it wasn't. Still, I held on. I believed in us. Or at least I wanted to. But that's where I made my first mistake. I started to let her define my happiness. I let her opinions become my truth. And I knew it. Deep down, I knew it was happening, but the hope that things would turn around, that we'd work it out, kept me stuck in a cycle. Then came the wedding invitation. The one moment I thought would finally prove to everyone that I was right, that she was the one. But that's where everything went sideways. It started off simple enough. The text message she sent, one of those cryptic ones that, in hindsight, should have raised a red flag. "Don't move on too fast," she said. I read it, thinking it was nothing. Just her usual backhanded way of trying to keep me grounded. But I felt that pit in my stomach, the one I had learned to ignore. A part of me brushed it off. After all, we had our issues, right? But we were still together. And then the day came. The wedding. I won't lie, I was nervous. A new chapter, right? But when I walked in, the sight of her was everything I dreamed of, until I saw who she was sitting next to. Not just some old friend. Not some acquaintance. No, it was someone I knew. Someone I had spent time with. Someone she had been close to. The first shock hit me hard. But I was a man. I held it together. I focused on what I came there for. She was supposed to be mine, and I wasn't going to let her, or anyone else, mess with that. Then the phone buzzed in my pocket. I saw her name flash across the screen. My heart sank. I opened it. "You look good, but you can't move on like this. Don't do this to me." I stared at the message, confusion flooding my brain. I had done nothing. Nothing. So why was she saying this? But there it was, the message, a final stab. Before I could even process it, my phone buzzed again. But this time, it was different. She blocked me. Just like that. Blocked. I stood there, alone, in the middle of the wedding, looking at the screen in my hand, my mind racing. This was the woman who had told me she would never leave. And yet here she was. Blocking me. At our wedding. I turned around, storming out of the room, but it wasn't until I got outside that the floodgates opened. The mix of anger and confusion hit me all at once. I felt betrayed, humiliated. And for what? What had I done to deserve this? The answer was clear now. She had been playing me the entire time. Her little comment about moving on too fast, those weren't just words. They were the groundwork for what she'd already planned. She had been holding on to a secret. A secret that was just waiting for the right moment to come to light. In the days that followed, things got worse. I dug through every text, every moment, every red flag that I had ignored. I found them. They were all there. The little moments where she would compare me to others, the way she always seemed to have more attention for other people, the times she acted like my emotions were just some inconvenience to her. But this was different. This wasn't just about me. This was about her. Her insecurity. Her jealousy. Her need to always feel in control. The twisted part? I think she believed it was for my own good. That she was doing me a favor by letting me go. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how messed up it all was. She had always been the one to call the shots. And now, she was trying to make me feel like the bad guy for moving on. It was a game. A game that she had set the rules for from the start. And I had played right into her hands. But here's the thing no one tells you about these situations: the longer you stay in it, the more it changes you. You start to question yourself. You start to wonder if maybe you're the problem. But deep down, I knew I wasn't. This wasn't my fault. So I stopped trying. I stopped chasing after someone who didn't want to be found. I cut the strings and let it go. And as the days went by, I realized something crucial. I didn't need her to complete me. I was more than enough on my own. By the time she tried to reach out again, I had already moved on. She wanted to fix things, to try again. But the truth was, I had already built my life back. She didn't get to come back and rewrite the script. The final twist was that I didn't need her approval to be happy. And I was finally free. So no, I didn't take her back. And no, I didn't even flinch when she saw who I brought to the wedding. Because in the end, it wasn't about them, it was about me. And for the first time in years, I was finally the one who got to choose. The thing with her, it was never just one thing. There was always something. A look, a comment, a way of making me feel like I wasn't enough. I'd caught glimpses of it, but like a fool I ignored it. I had that idea in my head, you know? The idea that relationships took work, that love was about compromise. And I told myself, every time, that it wasn't her fault. She was just a product of her environment, right? Maybe she had some insecurities. Maybe she had issues she hadn't worked through. But I thought we could work through it. I convinced myself that we could heal together, that all the cracks would eventually fill in. And for a while, I think I actually believed it. But now, looking back, I see the layers of manipulation that were there from the beginning. Each little twist, each breadcrumb she dropped, all led to that moment. The moment she blocked me. It was almost like she had been preparing me for this heart-wrenching, slow burn the entire time, and I didn't even know I was playing my part in the script she wrote. I remember one night, after one of our usual arguments, she looked at me with this expression that I couldn't place. It wasn't anger, wasn't sadness. It was almost pity. Like she had already written me off in her mind, but I didn't know yet. And for the first time in a long time, I thought to myself, what's going on in her head? I wish I could say I saw the red flags then. But I didn't. I was too deep in it. The thing with her was that everything had a condition attached to it. She'd give me just enough to make me feel like I was the one she cared about, but only if I met her standards, if I did things her way. But even when I did everything right, when I wore the clothes she liked, when I changed my habits to fit into the little box she built for me, there was always this feeling that I couldn't quite get over. Like I was always falling short. It wasn't until later, until that message, that I realized what I was missing, her. So there I was, at the wedding, trying to keep my composure, but inside, everything was unraveling. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. My mind was spinning, trying to figure out why she had acted the way she did, why she had sent that message, why she had blocked me right when everything was supposed to be right. It didn't help that she kept posting things online. The subtle hints. She'd post pictures with him, her old flame. She'd post smiling selfies, ones where her eyes seemed a little too wide, a little too happy. And I knew she was doing it on purpose. She wasn't just rubbing it in my face. No, she was trying to make me jealous. She wanted me to see that she had moved on, that she didn't need me anymore. And there I was, stuck in the middle of all this. Staring at her posts, wondering if I was the fool for believing she ever truly loved me. All of it hit me like a slap in the face. It wasn't just that she was moving on, it was that she was doing it without a second thought, without the guilt I thought she would have. I wasn't her choice, and I wasn't the one she was going to stick with. Not anymore. But it wasn't until I started reflecting on everything that I realized the worst part. The worst part was that she had never really been honest with me. She had kept me around, kept me close enough, just to have me when it suited her. She didn't really care about me, not in the way I thought she did. It was never about love. It was always about control, about making sure she was the one in charge, about having her ego fed by someone like me. I tried reaching out. I tried to get some kind of closure. I thought maybe if I could talk to her, she'd see things my way, that we could fix it. But each time, the door slammed shut harder and harder. And that was when I really understood. She wasn't just pushing me away. She was trying to erase me from her life. And that's when it hit me, how far she was willing to go. I thought she'd care enough to at least explain herself. But no. She was done, and she had no problem letting me know. I spent the next few days digging. I needed to know. I couldn't let it go. I dug through her social media, her past relationships, anything I could get my hands on. I looked at the way she talked to people, the way she interacted with him. She was already building a life with someone else while I was still trying to hold on to the wreckage of what we had. It was a punch to the gut every time I saw a post, every time I saw her moving on. But with each post, with each moment I caught a glimpse of her life, something inside me began to change. I started to let go. Slowly, piece by piece. I realized I didn't need her. I had tried so hard to hold on to something that was never mine to begin with. And once I started letting go, I started feeling lighter. The anger and frustration gave way to this strange sense of freedom. I wasn't the one who had lost. She had. The hardest part of all of this wasn't losing her. It was seeing how easily she let me go. How quickly she replaced me. But that was the thing. I had been her backup plan all along. I had been the safe choice, the one she could fall back on when everything else didn't work out. And now that she had moved on, now that I wasn't an option anymore, she had no problem pulling the rug out from under me. That's when I realized what I had to do. I couldn't let her keep doing this to me. I couldn't keep letting her manipulate my emotions. I didn't owe her anything. And I certainly didn't owe her an explanation. I deleted her from my life. And this time, there was no going back. It wasn't just about cutting her out. It was about finally cutting off the last thread of doubt, the one that made me wonder if I was making the right choice. I was making the right choice. And no matter how much she tried to pull me back in, no matter how many times she tried to make me feel guilty, I was done. When she reached out again, I didn't respond. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just done. And when I walked away from her for good, that was when I realized the most important lesson of all. I could survive without her. In fact, I was better off without her. And as for the wedding? Well, I'm glad I went. It helped me see just how much I had outgrown her. She wasn't my world anymore. Not even close. And the funny thing? I didn't need to get revenge. Life already had a way of handling that for me. And when I walked away, I knew, with every ounce of certainty in my body, that I was finally free.